Welcome back to IJDM. We are going into 65 episodes now, and no one has guessed the name. I thought I'd bring that back up because I haven't brought it up in a while, but it's one of those things because the name is just the way I feel about it. It's that thing. So if you can figure out what IJDM stands for, well, figure something out for you, and honorable mention or something. I'd like to give something away. If something you're interested in on the channel, then we'll figure it out. But I'll probably try to clear it up around episode 100 if it goes that long. But it's just an ongoing. It's almost like a social experiment at this point, and I may wait for somebody to say, "Hey, I got it," and I've dropped so many clues that and some of them are so blatantly obvious that it should have been. I'm surprised nobody's mentioned it. I get questions every now and then like, well, what does it stand for? Well, no, that's the whole point. You're supposed to guess. And we have two laptops here. I'm just popping the lids open a little bit here. This is the 755 CD. This is the 365 XD. And if you saw in one of my earlier videos, I'm having some definite hinge issues that popped out of flipping nowhere. Somebody knows and it has any ideas, let me know, because oh man, I am so heartbroken about this. Laptop was so pristine, and I mean I've treated the plastic with whatever I could, so we're just gonna carefully, even opening it now, it's like, oh man, it's like I'm afraid of it now. So I may just shelf this one after this project and just use, I have a Toshiba 400 CDT and a Compact 5000 LTE, so I have those to use. This one I'm not so much afraid of because, I mean, I've restored this one. This one I didn't really, but this is kind of like my favorite. It's like my, my favorite child, so to speak, of all these old laptops that I have. But I think we can see both the screens, yeah. How well they show up, I'm not really sure. I'm going to turn the brightness down. This screen's a little darker, but it gets brighter as it goes. And the funny thing about it, it's still a little like a yellowish tinge compared to this one. Maybe it's a better backlight or something with the backlights. But one thing I've noticed that the longer that they're on, the screens get brighter and brighter. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just going to tilt that carefully forward. And this one I'm not really overly concerned about. This one has a stronger shell, as I covered in the other video, and we can still see them. So what are we doing today? Well, this is inspired by another channel I was watching. If you get a chance to check him out, Cathode Ray Dude. He covered something interesting on modems tonight, and I was done for the night. And sometimes I do these in what I call salvos. As we hear the fireworks, I'm not sure if you can hear them on camera going off in the background, but I do these videos in salvos as ideas pop into my head, and it's late at night, and hey, it's nothing else to do, so why not play around a little bit on camera and see. So the one thing I had been wanting to cover since day one of starting to collect this stuff, and stuff I used to enjoy when I was younger, was playing games via BBS. Can you do that anymore? Well, the short answer is yes and no. It takes a little bit, and I'm not going to go into too much technical stuff, but the first thing you're going to need is a serial, I guess they call them dumb cables. So basically it's, my phone thought I said the other S word that Apple uses, so it just clicked on, and I would be surprised if I don't understand what you're talking about. But that's those two connectors. I'm not sure when my camera goes out of focus here, but it's just basically end to end, and you can still buy these. I mean, they're still available on Amazon. They're still used in many different things, surprisingly, but it's just a straight serial, I guess you would call it a serial null cable would be the technical term, which maybe I didn't wrap that the way I should. Considering I'm a video person, I should know the over-under method. And let's cover that real quick. So most people take cables and they wrap them kind of like this, right? You see that? But that causes the cable to twist, and it's a no-no in television production land. So they always tell you to do over and then under, and you see what happens there is that the cord, when you pull it apart, as long as you did it right, isn't going to have as much of a coiling effect, even though it was already kind of that way when I just did this. But there's something I thought I'd mention. For those video people out there that watch these and think I do terrible stuff, well, I do some awesome stuff, but you know what? This is all just for fun. So I'm just plugging these into the back of the serial port here as I cross back. And I don't have one of my retro shirts on because even in Florida in summer, t-shirts can be hot. So, and the serial port is just the port on the back. If you don't know what you're doing, I mean, anybody that would know what I'm talking about would understand right away what I just did. And I did check the BIOSes on both these. The serial ports are enabled. Usually by default they are on most of these retro computers, but you may have to go in, reset the BIOS, and usually by default it sets it to COM1 and you're good to go. But basically I installed the games. I did some modifications to the actual folders where the games are actually located, and set them up with certain parameters that basically says, because for some reason the way I'm connecting on the null thing, the BBS doesn't understand this or that. So I figured let's try connecting these games directly. So with that we use direct cable connection. And if you notice the screens are different, that's because this is an 800 by 600 where this is a 680 by 480 or 400, something like that. Anyways, that's like more of a DOS screen. This is more of a Windows type screen, and maybe you can see the difference in color in the screens, even though they're set pretty close. I mean, this one has red highlights and that has yellow. But as you can see on this one is the host, so it's set to listen. This is the one that's set to connect to the host, which is where the server information for the BBS games is located. So I'm going to hit listen there, and then I'm going to go over here and hit connect. And everything being good, I'll take a sip of some root beer. Well, oh yeah, that is tasty on a Saturday night. And what the hell just happened on this? Alright, so something funny just happened on this computer, and I'm not really sure why. I got a weird 201 error. Man, it did not like something I did, and 201 is usually a BIOS error, I think, a 201 and 301. Well, let's restart and see if we can figure out what's going on here. No, it is stuck on a 201. So this brings up an interesting thing about retro tech. The hinge problem, this doing this weird thing, that's the stuff you're going to be dealing with. Yeah, it's totally ticked off about something. Could be moisture, could be whatever. It is a little humid out here, so I'm not really sure what it's liking or not liking. Maybe something with the thing. I don't know. This one's been acting weird. This one's been fine other than the screen hinge, which is just, oh man, this craziness. This might be another one of my videos that goes nowhere, and it's still a 201 error, which, and I just noticed something. The memory dropped down to nearly nothing. I think it's 4 megabytes versus the 8. So that might be a memory error issue. So maybe it, oh, maybe it got a little loose in there. Well, let's take a look. I don't know what the hell. I mean, we're on camera now, so to get to the memory on this, the memory module, you just take this, and then this is actually very easy on the 700 series. You just pop that out, and there's the memory card. And I'm actually wondering if maybe there might be something to this memory card. Okay, everything looks good, and it does look like a PCM CIA from the day. So yeah, I'm not gonna blow it or anything, do anything weird. I'm just gonna kind of reseat it. Maybe it kind of came loose. Maybe didn't like being moved around. Maybe it's this BIOS battery in here. Who knows? I'll try to get this back in here and salvage this video. And oh, yeah, this is very, very hinky here, the way you got to do this. It's thank God they don't do things like this anymore. Okay, so that's seated in there, and let's lock it down. Okay. Yeah, I shouldn't let that slam. I know. I'm not really afraid of these things anymore because they come down in price. Okay, so we still got a 201 error, and that means I'm gonna have to stop down, and we'll stop listening on this one. And okay, so still rolling. Well, okay. All right, so here is my 5000 series. I am on a compact group on Facebook, so they're gonna appreciate me having this one on because it rarely stars on the show, just because I put so much effort into restoring this one. Sadly enough, because I still have weird issues with this one too. All of them, you have one thing or another. This one though is remarkable shape, and let's see what problems we have as I power it up tonight. And okay, so first thing, it's not getting any power, and I know why. It is because of this gimmick here. You gotta, for some reason, twitch it around a little bit and then set it back down, and then it's fine. And make sure you get your power plugged in. All right, well, it was a power supply I got really cheap that basically got given to me, so like whatever. Or no, I think it did come with this laptop. It was the other one, the aftermarket, I should have kept, because that one was fine. All right, so the screen is happy. It's funny, these dots move around. If you've seen me do other videos on it, it's like sometimes they're all like in here, sometimes they're, I've contacted people, I've heard lazy pixel or slow pixel or weird comments about that. I don't know. Probably needs a new screen anyhow. So let's just go into Windows, and if I have this configured the same way as I did, this one's set to connect, this one's set to listen. So let's see what happens here. All right, so this one, yeah, it uses the green. It's just a way of kind of when I'm looking at this stuff. We'll move that screen. Oh, this one's set to listen. Okay, well, can we just change this? Host, let's change this to serial cable 1. Okay, finish. Okay. Okay, so they're communicating. Let's see if this works, because I was kind of planning on the other two because I knew they were set up for what I'm trying to show here. Okay, well, I shouldn't have to enter in anything. For some reason, Windows 95 passwords didn't matter. You could just hit cancel or okay, and it's like, oh, yeah, we're fine. Okay, let's try this. So let's just do Battleship. This is one of my favorite games, and okay, so it's looking for drive X, I believe. So there's a little thing for you. And because I think NetGames is set up here where it's the actual folder, I can't go into that. So I need to connect to the okay. So I need to route that drive. So we're going to do this, and we're going to map it, and we're going to change this to X, which is what it's probably looking for, and see if that fixes the problem. Alright, so we're in NetGames, so it is on that computer, so it should have full access to the directory. And we're going to do, okay, so 9 times out of 10 it's not connecting on the first try. It is trying, I know that for sure. And this one, I'm just going to hit enter and see if getting any movement here. Give it a second. I may do some flash forwards here, and this time let's try connecting ahead of the other computer. So we want to go into NetGames and then Battleship, and we want to use the secondary bat I set up and have it. Okay, so there we go, it fired right up, and it's firing off of this machine to understand what's happening here, and this one's firing off its own. So if I hit enter and enter, and I say I have a human waiting, yes I do, waiting for other player. Oh, here we go. So waiting for first coordinate, and this may take a minute or two. Like I said, it's not perfect, but these two computers are connected, playing an old BBS system. So we're just going to go through A0, B0. Oh, no, wait. Oh, we got to think about this. 5 spaces. So it'd be A0, E0. All right, that's deployed. Deploy the Battleship. We're just going to go A3, D3. Deploy the cruiser. Let's go J1, J3. The destroyer. Let's go H1, H3. And then the little tiny submarine, let's go B9 and C9. Okay, so it's waiting for this other player, so I'm going to go over to this other laptop and deploy all the stuff here. So let's go A9, E9, and then if you want to change directions, this depends on how you do it. So let's just say I want to go A1 to A4. Yeah, So there, see, it's the opposite direction because the way you enter the coordinates in makes you think a little bit rather than just using your mouse. You're actually using text-based, and this is all text-based. Most BBSs, that's all you could do in the day. So we're going to do J1, J3, and then the sub, which is H9 and J9, and then the submarine. So G0, H, whoops, you didn't like that, J0, G0, H0, and there we go. So I am ready to deploy my first thing. There goes on the second computer on the left side. Hopefully this is showing up all right on camera. I'm never sure with some of this DOS stuff. So this one's ready to fire, and it's one at a time. There's no salvo fire. So let's just try, I'm not going to cheat too much. Let's just try A2. So it shows up just as an asterisk, which means I missed. I didn't hit anything. So this one instantly says ready. So, okay, well, what I'm going to aim at here? Well, I'm going to go C9. And that was a hit, and it shows up as a hit here that it hit the aircraft carrier. Likewise, on this one, if I happen to enter in J1, it hit the cruiser. So, and it tells you how many. The only thing I don't really like, I kind of like that mystery of you don't know what ship you hit. But I guess if you're communicating halfway around the planet via BBS or halfway across the country, kind of adds an element to that. One other thing that's an honorable mention, and there's a few of these different games, and if there's interest, maybe I'll do a few more and go into more intricate things on how you set them up to still play these games. And this Richard Paquette, I believe he passed away years ago. I can't remember the year, but he designed some really cool BBS games back in the day, and this is one of many of them. But let's just say, okay, well, you can't talk to each other. I mean, back then you were in the 90s and you were connecting via BBS. So you want to say something to the other person, so you could hit C and then enter a comment. And we'll keep it clean, just in case there's any kids watching. And hit enter. It's not going to show up yet, so I got to do my move, and my move for this computer, I'm just going to do G5, which is a miss. And then on this one, there's the message. I'm going to sink your whole fleet that I set from this one. So pretty cool. You go back and forth until eventually somebody wins, and then you can look at the stats. And yeah, they're both showing up as the same username. That's just the way I set it up. I did this relatively quick, just for something that we can play around with and have some fun with. And there's other games on these laptops, and let's just, I think it's Q for quit. Yes. Wow, I remember that one right away. So the games are basically Battleship, and they're similar in structure. Like checkers is, it's the type of board you're seeing there. Same with chess, and things are labeled differently. Connect 4, that's Card Sharks. I have a hard time getting that working. There's a fishing game, but the other games, I think those are unrelated. But Gammon and Othello are, I think, the other ones of that package from this guy Richard that did it. And at the end of the day, we're saying, okay, we're done with our games, and that's still up, but we'll cheat here. We'll exit out of that. We'll just go to that and shut down, and then here, we've brought these camping and had some fun with them, but it said it was still connected, interestingly enough, and then just shut them down, and then that's it. I mean, it's not the most logical thing to do, but if you want to have some retro tech experience in old games that use ASC2 character type situations, it's kind of a fun little thing and something to play around with. And that is it for now. We'll see you next time on IJDM. Thanks for watching.